What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actresses sits down for what should have been a routine interview only to find herself ambushed by disrespect disguised as curiosity? This was supposed to be another promotional appearance. Instead, it became a masterclass in composure, a lesson in boundaries and a moment that would echo across entertainment history. Viola Davis walked onto the late-night set that evening with the grace, elegance, and strength that have defined her career. She was there to promote her latest project, a bold, emotionally charged drama already generating serious Oscar buzz. The audience welcomed her warmly. She smiled, gracious and grounded, ready to talk about her craft. The host smiled too, but something in his tone betrayed his words. "So, Viola, welcome back to the show. Always a pleasure," he said with a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Thank you for having me," she replied, settling into the rhythm she knew well. She expected the usual 8 questions about her character, the director, the message of the film. But then the host leaned back, smirked, and said, "You know, I've been thinking about your career. Do you ever feel like a broken bar you've been typecast?" The question landed with an awkward silence. Not inherently offensive, but the delivery, the tone, the implication, it was all wrong. "Let's be honest," he continued. "You tend to play a lot of the same type, the strong, suffering woman, the one who overcomes impossible odds. Is that just a broken bar what Hollywood sees when they look at you?" Viola's smile didn't falter, but her eyes sharpened. "I think what you're really asking," she said calmly, "is about the roles available to women who look like me in this industry." The host didn't take the hint. He leaned forward, emboldened. "Exactly. I mean, don't you ever just want to play some only a broken bar normal?" The audience shifted in their seats. This wasn't banter. This was something else. "Every role I take," Viola answered steadily, "has depth, complexity, and truth. Human stories involve struggle. That doesn't make them abnormal." "But don't you think," the host interrupted, "that by always playing those kinds of roles, you're limiting yourself? Other actresses branch out, comedy, action, even rom-coms. Don't you want to show you can be fun too?" This time, the dig was deliberate. The smile on Viola's face vanished. "I've worked in multiple genres. Perhaps you're unfamiliar with the full scope of my filmography." It was a diplomatic slap, and the audience knew it. The host's tone grew defensive. "I just think it's interesting that someone of your caliber chooses such a broken bar heavy material. Don't you want to make people laugh?" Viola's jaw clenched barely, but her voice, ice cold, precise. "I believe all stories matter, whether they make people laugh or cry, feel or think. Storytelling is about truth, and truth isn't always light-hearted." Still, the host wouldn't back down. "Sure, but don't you ever just want to have fun with a role?" And that was it. Viola's voice cut through the tension like a knife. "Fun?" she repeated. "You think portraying complex, multidimensional human beings isn't fun? You think giving voice to the voiceless isn't fulfilling?" The temperature shifted. The host could feel it, but still didn't stop. "I just think maybe it's time to lighten up a little. Show people you can do more than just a broken bar, the serious stuff." Now it was too far. Everyone knew it, and Viola made sure no one forgot it. "Lighten up?" she echoed, voice rising with the weight of righteous fury. "Tell me, when was the last time someone told Meryl Streep to lighten up, or asked Daniel Day-Lewis to try something fun?" The host stammered. "I wasn't trying to compare her." "But you were," Viola said, her voice now firm, unwavering. "And let's be very clear, you're questioning my choices in ways my white peers never have to face." The studio was silent. "You're sitting here suggesting my work is somehow less valid because it isn't fun. Because it doesn't make people laugh. Because it tells hard truths." Let me ask you something, what exactly do you think is normal? Because the women I portray, they're real. Their stories are real. The host tried again. "I think you're being a little dramatica." And that sealed his fate. Viola's eyes narrowed. Dramatic? You call me dramatic for defending my life's work, for standing up to condescension disguised as curiosity? That's not drama, that's self-respect." He tried to steer back, apologize, Reframe A. But it was over. You didn't ask about my future, she said. You questioned my past. You called human stories A depressing. You implied I need to prove myself in genres you think matter more. She stood. The audience gasped. You invited me as a guest and treated me like a case study. You dismissed my work, my voice, and when I spoke up you called me dramatic. That's not just disrespect. That's a problem. The cameras kept rolling. The host, now visibly sweating, pleaded, we can fix this in editing. You want to edit this out? Viola said, her voice fierce. Let them see it. Let them see what happens when a woman refuses to shrink herself to fit your script. She removed her mic, placed it gently on the table, and turned to the audience. I came here to talk about a film I'm proud of, a story that matters. Instead, I got reduced to a stereotype by someone who clearly didn't do their homework. And with that, she walked off set, a head held high, leaving behind a stunned host and a silent crowd. This wasn't just an interview. This was a reckoning. Viola Davis didn't lose her cool. She claimed her power. And she reminded everyone, especially those in power, that respect is not optional. Would you have walked out too? Was Viola right to confront the host? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes truths from Hollywood's biggest moments.